Hello and welcome back. Welcome back for our last half hour. Yes, today, finally, you and me, we're alone. Just you and me together. Private class, and today, easy English, but very, very important. The auxiliary do and does. What do you do for a living? What does your sister do for a living? What does your father do for a living? What does your mother do for a living? What do you do for a living? What do I do for a living? All right. Does this microphone have a cable? No, it doesn't. Does this cup have any water in it? Yes, it does. Does Madrid have a subway system? Metro? Sistema de metro? Yes, it does. Does Barcelona have a subway? Yes, it does. Does Italy have a capital? Yes, it does. Well, what city is the capital of Italy? The capital of Italy is Rome. Now, does Rome have a sewage system? Sistema de alcantarillado. Sewage, sueje, escrito con W en medio. Sewage. Yes, Rome has a sewage system. Does Madrid have a sewage system? Yes, it does. Now, does Madrid have a good underground system, transport system? Yes, it does. Does Madrid have a good bus system? In my opinion, it does. Yes, it does. Now, does Madrid have problems with traffic? Yes, it does. Does Madrid have a lot of traffic congestion? Yes, it does. Does Spain have a lot of beautiful places for tourists? Yes, it does. Does Spain have a lot of nice beaches? Yes, it does. Does China have a lot of people? Yes, it does. 1.3 million people. Does India have a lot of people? Yes, it does. Does India have a lot of poverty? Pobreza? Poverty. Yes, it does. Does Spain have a lot of poverty? No, it doesn't. Not much. Does Spain have a high standard of living? Yes, it does. Un alto nivel de vida, por supuesto que sí. España sí. En casi todas las regiones. In almost every region. Does every region in Spain have a good standard of living? Well, more or less, yes. Every region in Spain has a relatively or very good standard of living. Does Soria have a good standard of living? Not bad. Does Teruel have a good standard of living, a high standard of living? Not bad. Does Orense have a high standard of living? Yes, in general, it has a good or a high standard of living. Does Baleares do? Ahora cambio de does a do. ¿Por qué? Ello does Teruel, does Soria, does Orense. Ahora cambio do. ¿Por qué? Pues escuchad. Do the Balearic Islands, plural, las Islas Baleares, porque son varias. Do the Balearic Islands have a high standard of living? Yes, they do. Does Germany have a high standard of living? Yes, it does. Does Spain have a lot of mountains? Yes, it does. Does Spain have a lot of railroad kilometers? Yes, it does. Does Spain have a democratic government? Yes, it does. What kind of government does Brazil have? It has a democratic government too. What kind of government does Japan have? Well, Japan has a monarchy, but a parliamentary government, a democratic government. Yes, Japan has an emperor. And does Spain have a monarchy? Yes, it does. Spain is a monarchy. Now, does France have a president or only a prime minister? Well, France has both. France has both. Tanto un presidente como un primer ministro. France has both a president and a prime minister. Does England, does Great Britain or the United Kingdom have a president and a prime minister? No. England or the Great Britain has a monarchy, a monarch, in this case Queen Elizabeth, and a prime minister. But England doesn't have, or Great Britain doesn't have a president. Now, does the United States have a president and a prime minister? No. The United States doesn't have, y aunque son los Estados Unidos, se dejan singular. Se dice en inglés, los Estados Unidos es un país muy grande. The United States is. No decimos los Estados Unidos son. Okay? The United States is a big country, and does the United States have a prime minister? No, it doesn't. Does the United States follow a parliamentary system? No, it doesn't. Does the United States have a president? Yes, it does. Does the United States have a king? No, it doesn't. Does the United States have a two-chamber legislature? Yes, it does. Does the United States have a Senate, un Senado? Yes, it does. Does the United States have a Congress? Yes, it does. But in the United States, the Congress has two houses, the Senate and the House of Representatives. Does Spain have a two-chamber Congress? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Does Spain really have two chambers? Yes, it has the Parlamento, Congreso de Diputados, and it has the Senate, el Senado. And does Spain have a strong central government? In general, it does. Does Brazil have a strong central government? Yes, it does. Does Germany have a strong central government? Yes, more or less. The different Länder are very, very strong. Okay? Now, does Spain have many different provinces? Yes, it does. How many provinces does Spain have? Spain has 50 provinces and 2 cities, or 2 towns, Ceuta and Melilla. And how many states does the United States have? The United States has 50 states. And does the United States have a lot of mountains? Not too many. Spain has more. The United States has 2 mountain ranges, the Appalachians on one side in the east and the Rockies in the west. And Spain? Does Spain have a lot of mountains? Yes, Spain has a lot of mountains. In the north, in the center, in the south, in the west, in the east, Spain has a lot of mountains. Spain is the 2nd highest country in Europe. What country is the highest? Well, the highest country in average, promedio, average elevation is Switzerland. Switzerland is higher than Spain, but Spain is almost in average elevation as high as Switzerland. So the question, does Spain have a lot of mountains? Yes, it does. Does Switzerland have a lot of mountains? Yes, it does. Spain's number 2. In fact, the capital, the highest capital in elevation in Europe, in toda Europa, in all of Europe, is Avila. It's the highest capital, okay? And so there are a lot of mountains in Spain. Does Spain have a lot of new highways, nuevas carreteras? Yes, it does. Does Spain have a lot of good agriculture? Yes, it does. Spain has a lot of good agriculture. Does Spain have a lot of minerals? Yes, it does. Spain is a rich country. Does Spain have a lot of good music? Yes, it does. Spain is famous for its music. The musical tradition in Spain is very, very important. And everybody in the world, practically every cultured person in the world, immediately recognizes Spanish music. Yes. Now, very few people in the world recognize traditional French music or English music or German music. But Spanish music has a personality of its own, and everybody recognizes. So does Spain have good music, or does Spain have a good musical tradition? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And does Spain have an interesting history? Spanish history? It's fascinating. Does France have an interesting history? Yes. Fascinating too. Every European country practically has a very interesting history. But Spain the history of this country is especially interesting. And does Spain have an interesting ancient history? Yes, it does. Starting with the Dama de Elche, the Lady of Elche, and continuing through the Carthaginians, the Phoenicians, the Romans, the Greeks in Spain, yes, the Moors, the Visigoths. Oh, it's very interesting. The Christians. Does Spain have an interesting history? Yes, it does. And does Spain have a strong government? Yes. Does Spain have a strong democratic system? Now it does. Maybe 25 years ago, it was not as strong as today. But now, the alternation of power is consolidated, and in general, Spain has a strong government. At least people outside of Spain, observing Spain, think that Spain has a consolidated democracy. People who live in Spain, they don't see the forest for the trees. Many people who live in Spain don't see the forest for the trees. In Spanish, you say, you say los árboles no dejan ver el bosque, I think, okay? In English, no. You can't see the forest for the trees because you're in the middle of the trees. And so the people who live in Spain sometimes think that the democracy in this country is not well consolidated, but people outside of the country are convinced, okay? And does Spain have a lot of tourists every year? Yes, it does. Spain receives thousands and thousands, millions of tourists. Spain receives every year more tourists than the population of Spain. There are 45 million people in this country, and every year this country receives more than 45 million tourists. So does Spain have a strong tourist industry? Yes, it does. Does Spain have a strong car industry? El sector del automóvil. Car industry, automobile industry, yes it does. Spain is number 6 in the world, or number 7. I think it's number 6 in car production. There are factories in near Valencia, near Zaragoza, near Vigo, near Madrid, near Barcelona. There are car factories in Valladolid, in Palencia. There are a lot. They're even in Pamplona. There are a lot of car factories. Spain is the number 6 producer, I think, or maybe number 7 now, after India, but I'm not sure, of cars in Spain. So, question, siempre estoy empezando con does Spain have a strong car industry? Yes, it does. Does Spain have a strong tourist industry? Yes, it does. Does Spain have a strong industrial base? Yeah, not bad. Some areas of Spain are very good. Does Spain have a strong ceramic industry? El sector de la cerámica o de la porcelana? Yes, it does. There are many areas that are very, very good. Valencia, Castellón, in Toledo, Oropesa de Toledo, and these areas are very good. Does Spain have a strong ceramic industry? Yes, it does. Does Spain have a lot of natural resources? Yes, it does. Does Spain have a lot of uranium? Yeah, uranio. For nuclear power plants, for example, or for X-rays. Yes, it does. Does Spain have any nuclear plants? Yes, it does. It has about 8 or 9 functioning nuclear plants right now. Does Spain have a lot of coastline? Yes, it does. The Spanish coastline, we say línea costera, it starts in Irún, in that area, or in Fuenterrabía, and it goes all the way to La Guardia, where Portugal starts. So in the north, Spain has a lot of coastline and the Atlantic, in that area, what you call el Golfo de Vizcaya or the Mar Cantábrico. We call in English the Bay of Biscay, que es la palabra antigua para Vizcaya, con B. Okay, B de Barcelona, no V. Biscay, the Bay of Biscay, literalmente Bahía de Vizcaya, is in English el Mar Cantábrico, okay? The area between France and the north of Spain, that big area of water, is called in English the Bay of Biscay. Now the Spanish coastline starts in the Atlantic in Fuenterrabía, and it goes around and to Finisterre, and then down through the Rías Bajas, boom, to La Guardia. And that's the Miño River that divides Spain from Portugal. Now, does that area have a good fishing industry? Yes, it does. Does Galicia contribute a lot to Spain? Yes, it does. Okay. Does Galicia have an interesting history? Yes, it does. Constantemente con does cuando es tercera persona del singular. España. La costa. Galicia. Does. Does Spain have a long coastline? Yes, it does. It starts in where France and Spain meet in the area of Irún and Fuenterrabía, and it goes to La Guardia. Then it starts again after you go down Portugal, under Portugal, along the Algarve. Then you cross the Guadiana, and presto, you're in Ayamonte. And then the Spanish coastline. Does Spain have a lot of coastline in the south? Pooh, a lot. And from Ayamonte all the way down to Gibraltar or to Algeciras is the Atlantic coast that includes the provinces of Huelva and Cádiz, okay? And then you go around and you start into the Mediterranean. Now, does Spain have a lot of coastline? Does Spain? Does Spain? Does Spain have a lot of coastline in the Mediterranean? Yes, it does. In fact, Spain has more coastline on the Mediterranean than on the Atlantic in the south or the Bay of Biscay in the north. And it passes through Malaga, my God, Almería, and Murcia and Alicante, all of Valencia through Catalunya, up to Ampurias in that area, up to France. Yes. So yes, the question, does Spain have a lot of coastline? Yes, it does. Does Spain have an important fishing industry? Sector pesquero, the fishing industry. Yes, it does. Does Spain have a lot of fishing boats? Yes, it does. Spain has a lot of fishing boats. Barcos pesqueros. I think Spain is #1 in the world in fishing boats. It's strange, but I think it's true. Why? I don't know. Simply the evolution of the fishing industry in Spain. Spain is not #1 in the world in fish caught. And Spain is not #1 in the world in tonnage, escrito tonaje, que es tonelaje, barcos medidos por tonelaje. But in boats, in ships, yes, I think Spain is #1. Spain has thousands, Spain used to have, because Brussels is always trying to regulate the fishing industry. And Spain is constantly having problems with Morocco, with Mauritania, with Canada, with Ireland and the United Kingdom, etc. Because Spain has a lot of fishing boats. Does Spain have more fishing boats than France? Sin lugar a dudas, without a doubt. Pero probablemente en este caso no diría without a doubt. Repitamos la pregunta. Does Spain have more fishing boats than France? Definitely. Y definitely aquí no significa definitivamente, es sin duda, no hay duda. Definitely Spain has more more fishing boats than France. Okay. Now, does Spain have more museums than France? I don't know. Spain has a lot of very interesting museums. Casi apostaría que sí. I would almost bet that Spain has more museums than France. But if there are any French people watching this show now, maybe I will make some enemies because I really don't know. Of course, there's some incredibly good museums in France, but in Spain, my God. Only in Madrid, there are a lot of very interesting museums. In Barcelona, there are a lot of interesting museums. In Andalusia, in Figueres, in Catalunya, you have the Dalí Museum. It's very, very interesting. Ahora, fijaos en cómo pronuncio museo en inglés. Y lo voy a enseñar hoy. Y me gustaría que fuera ya definitivo y no tuviera que repetir. Porque llevo 35 años oyendo como mis alumnos constantemente dicen museum, españolizando o anglificando una palabra española, museo. Ahora, museum en inglés, la pronunciación de museo en inglés es, recordad, los toros Miura, de Miura, y la tarjeta SIM del teléfono móvil. SIM, S-I-M. Ahora, cuando quieres decir museo en inglés, dices toros Miura, tarjeta SIM. museum, museum, museum. No seum. Se escribe museum, pero se pronuncia toros miura tarjeta sim. Museum. Pero hacemos un zumbido con la S para que suene a Z inglesa. Museum, museum. Pero si no puedes hacer, yo perdono ese zumbido si no lo puedes hacer. Ahora bien, museum, museum. Dos sílabas, museum. And the best museum, the most important museum in Spain, of course, is the Prado. Another very important museum is the Reina Sofía. Yes, the Queen Sofía Museum. Another important museum is the Thyssen. Decís aquí Thyssen, pero internacionalmente se dice Thyssen Museum. And of course, there are many museums up in the north, in Bilbao. Yes, you have the Guggenheim Museum. You have fantastic museums everywhere in Spain. And does Spain have a lot of nice beaches? Yeah, oh yeah. Spain has nice beaches. Does Spain have a lot of interesting or fun or beautiful beaches? Yes, in the Balearic Islands, in the Canary Islands, on the Costa Brava, on the Costa Blanca, everywhere. On the Costa del Sol, you have nice beaches. And in Huelva and in Cádiz, you have nice beaches. Conil, there are a lot of nice beaches, all right? Now, does Spain have a lot of good English teachers? In my personal opinion, no. Spain doesn't have enough good English teachers. Spain, I imagine, has quite a few. Bastantes buenos profes de inglés. Probably Spain has quite a few good English teachers, but definitely, sin duda, definitely not enough. All right? And does Spain need to improve the general level of English? Yes, it does. Does the Spanish government need to progress in the area of education? Of course. Yes, it does. Every country in the world needs to improve in the area of education. And Spain is not an exception. Does Spain need to increase its general level of English, for example? Yes, it does. Does Spain have a strong economy? Yes, it does. Does Spain have a strong system of government? Yes, it does. Does Spain have a lot of talented people? En inglés decimos como en Sudamérica, gente talentosa. All right. Yes, Spain has a lot of talented people. All right. Ahora voy a cambiar de does a do. Do these talented people speak English well? That's one of the problems. Many of these people don't. No. Many of the talented people in Spain, or potentially talented people in Spain, don't speak English well, or French well, or German well. We need to bring the talent together with the skills. Natural talent, latent talent, potential talent, and skills. We need to bring them together, okay? Skills, the ability to communicate well on a personal basis and in front of groups. The ability to be persuasive when you speak. The ability to use computer systems with no problem. Computer applications, to be lo que llamamos alfabetos informáticos, no analfabetos, to be computer literate in every important application for business or for professional life. Yes, and the ability to speak languages, preferably English, French, German, but the ability to use languages. There are many people in Spain who are very, very talented or who have the potential to become very talented and very successful. But the majority of these people don't possess these skills completely. And so it's very important for the Spanish educational system to try to provide them with these skills. On this program, Aprende Inglés TV, vamos a dar nuestro grano de arena, decimos, our grain of sand we're going to put to help you and the rest of your compatriots get better and to improve as much as possible the English language. But the final solution is more in your hands than in mine or ours, okay? So help me in my quest. Help me in mi búsqueda, mi Santa Cruzada aquí, my holy crusade in my quest. Help me, please. And together, we will make magic. La mágica se make, no se do. To make magic, not to do magic. And together, you and me, we will make magic, okay? So, see you tomorrow or later today, okay? Thank you.